This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Alrighty, this morning at 6 a.m. we're taking a look at another snowing morning across the bi-state. We are live at 270 westbound where snow is starting to leave the area, but the roads are still wet out there.
Yeah, and just a few hours ago, this is what it looked like in Cahokia Heights. Those snowflakes are really, you know, those big kind of wet snowflakes that you see out there as well. Gave me a little bit of concern as I was hitting the road this morning, but so far everyone is taking it easy. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, December 28th. I'm Michelle Lee.
And I'm Sydney Stallworth. I'm in for Minnie Knott, who's off this week. We are waking up in winter weather alert this morning as we're dealing with another wet commute.
Yep, we do have team coverage from all around our area. Paul Cook and Travis Cummings, of course, are keeping an eye on the slick roads.
But first, let's send it on over to our weather first meteorologist, Anthony Slaughter. Timing out the snow. Anthony, what are we seeing?
Good morning. Yeah, you said it right. In fact, you saw as you were looking at that camera from our storm tracker, the snow is actually winding down. And so it's been snowing all night up until this point, and you can even see out in the Kirkwood Farmers Market where the snow did collect elevated surfaces, grassy surfaces, but the pavement, the ground has just been too warm. And so now that the snow is winding down, whatever's out there is going to start to melt away. Numbers are above freezing in many locations. So this area of low pressure, it's moving away from us. Yesterday it was over here in western Missouri. It's been sliding to our south, and you have the wraparound that's been coming on down, mostly snow this morning. But you can see in the last hour, look how that just whoop, disappeared. And so now we are not finding a whole lot of snow in St. Louis Metro, Belleville, out towards areas near Festus and Peeville. You still have a few flurries around, but for the most part, we're done with the snow this morning in St. Louis. Temperatures above freezing, so don't have to worry too much about icing. It's just the bridges and overpasses. Do be careful. Numbers today will be up near 40 as the snow wraps up. There is another round of snow on the way tonight into Friday morning, and this one could create accumulation. We'll talk about who could see the most coming up.
Okay, we've had one incident, one crash all morning, and yes, be careful out there because it could happen anywhere. This one in Oakville. Here's what you're seeing right now. It's been there for quite a while. Two vehicles involved in a crash here on the right side, and really if you're just slowing as you approach there, you should be fine. Lee May Ferry, which was our alternate route, now has some power lines, so you could see emergency vehicles there. Here's what you're seeing right now, kind of mimicking Anthony's maps as to where the surfaces could be a little bit slick. Just be careful. It's a lot harder to slow down depending on your vehicle. Doesn't really matter. I also wanted to include the Westplex, St. Charles, St. Peter's, people going normal speeds there. That's what folks are actually traveling at. Be careful. Slow it down if you can. Our winter weather alert team coverage continues with Travis Cummings on the roads. Travis, okay, where are you and how does it look out there?
Hey Paul, good morning to you. Yep, we are headed west on 270 right now. We are on the Illinois side in the Metro East, and I can tell you things were quite different here. I'm flipping to our dash cam. The indicator over here that things were bad overnight is the snow on top of the cars. You can really see that snow accumulating there. But things are pretty clear this morning. You know, like Anthony has been saying all morning here, the roads are just warm, so as soon as that wintry weather mix hits the ground, things are going to be eliminated quite quickly here. So let's look at some of the things that we saw overnight in some of our areas. Cahokia Heights got quite a dusting last night. You can see snowflakes accumulating pretty heavily on top of cars there in that parking lot. Buildings and the ground also got coated with flurries there. Now on the Missouri side, here's a look at the Delmar Loop. All of their holiday decorations getting hit by the flakes there. Things were coming down pretty heavily in Richmond Heights too, out in St. Louis County. And we got some shots by the Garden Heights Nursery out there. Now IDOT officials say they're in a wait and see mode. Crews are at home resting and sleeping right now so they can be prepared for later on when they're needed. Now MoDOT officials are also monitoring the forecast and say if road conditions get bad, they'll deploy every snowplow operator possible. They'll work 12-hour shifts until all major roads are clear. Now, I want to get you back to the roads here in Illinois. Again, we're on the Metro East side, and things are just fairly smooth this morning, but you know, some of the roads are still drying up throughout our area, so you're going to want to make sure to slow down and give your neighbor some room as you're behind them, because we saw a couple of cars kind of just piling up behind each other. So those are the types of things you want to be mindful of as you're commuting this morning if you're headed to work or anywhere else. All right, we're live from the Storm Tracker right now. Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
All right, thanks so much, Travis. Remember, you can get the latest weather first forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we will send it straight to your phone.
This morning, a man is waking up in police custody in connection with a homicide in North County. Now, this happened last night around 7:30 on Lexington Avenue in Valdez City. When St. Louis County Police arrived on the scene, they found a woman shot and killed. A man was taken into custody, but no charges have been filed so far this morning.
Right now, family members of a missing fluorescent woman are continuing to search for her. The missing mother of four's ex-boyfriend is facing first-degree murder charges in St. Louis County.
Why and how can you do this to your children's mother? You know, they have nothing now. We just want to bring her home, lay her to rest. To be a very caring father.
Well, that is the aunt of 29-year-old Markeisha Williams, who spoke exclusively to 5 on Your Side. Prosecutors say Trenton Ivy admitted to killing Williams during a fight. He is currently being held in Wisconsin on unrelated charges, but according to court documents, when officers arrested Ivy last Friday, he was driving Williams' Jeep. Police found blood and some of her personal belongings inside.
We just wish Trent would talk. You know, I don't know if he'll ever see this, but Trent, if you do, we just want you to please tell us where Markeisha is.
Williams' aunt says her niece and Ivy had been in a relationship for more than a decade, but separated earlier this year. This morning, there is no word on when Ivy will be brought to St. Louis to face murder charges.
Well, in less than 1 hour, SLU hospital nurses will return to the picket lines for their second day on strike.
Yeah, Megan Kernan is joining us live in South St. Louis with concerns from the nurses and also reaction from SSM Health this morning. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Michelle and Sydney. Well, things are very quiet right now outside of SLU Hospital compared to what we saw yesterday when cars were honking nonstop during the first day of the nurses' strike. And they'll be back out on the picket line starting at 7 a.m. this morning. SLU nurses say they're striking to call attention to the outsourcing of nurse jobs through travel agencies, low nurse retention, and incidents which they say compromise their safety. The union previously held a 24-hour strike back in September. Sarah DeWilde, a nurse at the hospital who serves on the bargaining committee for the union, says it's, quote, infuriating. They haven't come to an agreement with SSM Health on a contract.
The nurses are leaving in droves. They're tired of waiting around for SSM to finally figure things out. At the table, honestly, we've come down to what we literally need. Like, what needs to be in the contract now, that's where we're at. And yet we're still out here saying, hey, can we at least agree on something?
SSM Health released a statement saying in part, "We are deeply disappointed the NNOC has once again chosen to participate in a strike rather than complete discussions at the bargaining table. Calling for yet another work stoppage demonstrates clearly where NNOC's priorities are, and it's not taking care of our nurses or patients," end quote. Now, nurses will be lining up here outside of the hospital from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. Coming up in our next half hour, when union and the hospital will meet again at the bargaining table. Reporting live in South St. Louis, Megan Kernan, 5 on Your Side.
All right, let's talk about our weather first forecast as we get you into our next round of snow to come. This morning, things are starting to taper off, and we will actually have a dry day today. Cloudy, too. Numbers will be up near 40 degrees. It turns breezy as well. Those gusts could top 25 miles per hour, especially this evening and tonight. So here comes another round of snow. This is going to develop this evening and maybe as late as bedtime for some of you, but this comes in off the Great Lakes. So this is going to have a little bit more moisture to work with. And now that our ground temperatures are colder, air temperatures are colder. We could actually have some sticking snow this go round. I think a trace to an inch in St. Louis, but some areas west, Bowling Green, Herman, and Rolla, you could have 1 to 3 inches with the next round to come tonight through tomorrow. We'll take a look at the weekend that's coming up.
All right, thanks so much. Help is on the way. Coming up, how Operation Food Surge is expanding its programs to feed hungry families this morning.
Plus, holiday travel about to pick back up. We'll share the best and worst times to hit the road today.
And as we head to break, we're taking a live look at Belleville this morning. You can see the roundabout is looking okay, but the roads are definitely wet out there. Be safe.